Have you had any contact with Vince since you left the WWE?
You know, I haven't. I've talked to a few different people, well, I've talked to Vince since I've left the WWE, but it hasn't been very recently. At one time, we had some discussions of me coming back, and I think that's the last time that I've chatted with him.
When, approximately, when was that?
Oh, that wasn't too far after I left.
Okay.
But no, you know, it would be nice to chat with him and just, you know, I don't have any hard feelings towards him. I enjoyed my time with the company. There was just certain things that I didn't enjoy.
Travel.
Yeah, you know, just other things. It's business. We didn't agree on a couple of things, and you know, I'm here and he's there.
Sure. And you know, how would you compare the personalities of Dana White and Vince McMahon? Are there some similarities, or?
Well, they're both, you know, definitely they're both pioneers. You know, I think they share some of the same traits as wanting to become, and Vince probably, you know, has became the best, and Dana is a little premature on it yet, but I think he is, and he is right now, and they will be. The company will. They are.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's. But I mean, I think you take any top businessman, and they'll all have some similar characteristics, but definitely not the same people. No.
Okay. And I mean, you were a natural at pro wrestling, both in the ring and behind the mic. Some of the things you've said since you left WWE indicate that you were miserable a lot of the time, at least towards the end that you were there. And you obviously had a passion for it at one time. I mean, you don't become as good as you were without having some sort of passion for it, no matter how natural you were. I mean, what really changed?
Well, I lived and breathed, you know, I guess, the entertainment, you know, the mere fact of becoming a pro wrestler. I lived it, you know, and I wanted to be one, and it just, I was sitting in the locker room one day, and I've said this before, looked around at a number of different guys that had been in business for a long time, and I realized I did not want to become like those guys.
Sure.
You know.
What was it about them? You probably don't want to name names, but what characteristics was it that?
Well, my life. I wanted more than just to be a pro wrestler.
Sure.
There's more to life than just being a wrestler, and you had to live that.
I'll see you in about 3 or 4
Thanks.
weeks.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Take care.
You know, there was more to it than just, you know, but you had to live, breathe, shit, pro wrestling, and that's all these people had in their lives. That's it. And at the end of the day, I'm a family guy, you know, salt of the earth kind of guy, and I wanted more than that.
That's cool. And you know, I mean, were there some political things that bothered you?
You know, it wasn't even that. It was just when you work for a company like that, you have to be there, and it's part of the job. It's part of the job of being visible, being a celebrity, being you know, on the road, traveling. That's part of the deal, and it just didn't appeal to me anymore.
And your last match with WWE, it was I mean, you guys were booed. I mean, without question. I mean, were you bitter at all about that? And
No, I still got paid.
yeah, I mean, do you regret the way you went out at all?
No, not at all. I mean, I can't change how people think about me. You know, I mean, I can just, especially in that aspect. You know, I couldn't. We had a match. Everybody knew the outcome of. You know, I wasn't going to be around. Bill wasn't going to be around. Steve wasn't going to be around. So why should these fans put any time into us in the ring? You know. So no, I don't hold any resentment or anything like that. Absolutely not.
How much of your departure was just a desire to compete in a legitimate sport?
Well, a lot of it. You know, I mean, me being a competitor my whole life, I tried to balance the two even when I was working, some nights, if you ask some of the guys I went with, I was stiffer some nights than the others. And probably I was always stiff, probably. But if to me it was competing again, And to me it wasn't about coming through that. A lot of guys will say, "Oh, coming through the curtain and having the lights and camera and all the people cheering your name." It wasn't about that for me. I mean, I enjoyed it, but some of these guys live for that shit.
Yeah.
And it wasn't me, To me, I wanted to go out there and to perform and to to sweat.
And what led to the tryout with the Vikings? Was that something?
Well, I had the opportunity to have a professional tryout before I went to WWE, and I turned it down. And I thought, well, God, if I wouldn't have made this decision, what if I would have done that? And I didn't want to be sitting in a nursing home someday. Yeah, I had the opportunity, but I just didn't do it. I'm the kind of guy that, the whole world is full of opportunities. If you got the balls enough to stick your neck out and grab and try to hang on, then you're going to be one of those guys that's going to climb the ladder.
Were you, at the time, I don't remember, were you unable to go into MMA because of your WWE contract at that time? Or was your heart just really set on?
My heart was set on playing football.
Yeah.
It was still, MMA still wasn't as big as it is, now. It was, I didn't really know how to get into MMA. I didn't, my heart was, and yeah, there was some legal obligations that
Sure.
wouldn't allow me. But no, when the day I left, I said I'm gonna go play football.
Now let's say when you're 40 years old, your MMA career is winding down. Hopefully, you're still involved. And would you consider a return to WWE if the money was there and be it a full-time schedule, a part-time schedule, or even just a one-off? Or do you think your wrestling days are just completely finished?
I have no idea. If I would definitely never end up back on the road again. I know that.
Yeah.
And nor would I. Would I sometime like some kind of business adventure with the company, maybe of some sort, whether it's a book or a one-time match or even a one-time feud, whatever. Obviously, I don't work for peanuts.
Yeah.
And everything's got to fall into place. And nobody does work for peanuts, okay? You don't work for free. You're here because you want to make $1.
Right.
And you enjoy what you do. I'm here because I enjoy what I'm doing, and I get paid for it too. So everything's got to be right. But absolutely not. I'm an Ultimate Fighter now, and I'm enjoying it. And by then, I'm going to be at my ranch somewhere when this is all done, and taking my kid to school.
And how long do you plan on? Everything could change tomorrow, obviously.
Exactly. I don't know.
Just one day at a
don't know.
time?
Yeah, one day at a time. I got a workout at 1 today, and somebody might drop me on my head. I don't know.
Well, how does it? Describe a day in the life of Brock Lesnar. Not just training, but just life in general.
I'm very typical. I keep to myself. I'm a private guy. I enjoy my family. Whether on the when the weekend comes, I'm up at my lake house, sitting in the hammock, or drowning a worm, or swimming, or whatever.
Sure.
And just hanging with my daughter as much as I can.
And was that a big part of it? I remember hearing
Yeah,
people that,
I was just, I came home one time and she was walking and talking. I was gone for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy smokes, just in that short amount of time, it's like, I had a lot. There was all kinds of things. It just wasn't one thing, it wasn't like Steve Austin and not wanting to do the job for me and decided he wasn't going to come to work that day.
Yeah, did that bother you? Did that bother you?
No, I didn't even know what was going on at the time.
I mean, the whole thing, as I understood, was he didn't have any problem putting you over. It was just, why are we doing this on Raw when
It
there's no
didn't matter,
build-up
yeah,
and no pay-per-view? And it just kind of came out of nowhere. It wasn't even going to be
Exactly.
advertised.
I don't blame him for it. Hot-shotting. They hot-shotted shit all the time.
Yeah.
Someday it'll all be in my book.
I'm looking forward to that book. Talk about the differences between MMA fans and pro wrestling fans. Have you noticed many?
I think your MMA fan, I think they're about the same. I mean, I think the MMA fan and the WWE or the pro wrestling fan, they're the same people. I think.
Sure.
I would be surprised if they're not. And this is something new and refreshing. You turn Vince's show on, I mean, it's like fucking deja vu.
Yeah, I mean, do you follow the product?
Once a month, and feels like I've been watching it every day.
It looks pretty similar, doesn't it?
So, I mean, this is refreshing. How do you reinvent the wheel, though? I mean, Vince has been doing this for a long time, and, you know, everything comes in cycles. UFC's hot, WWE's not. Will it reverse someday? I don't know.
I mean, one of the big things about WWE has always been they're a promoting machine. And do you think that there's anything UFC could do better and kind of maybe follow a WWE model that they're not doing yet as far as some promotional things go? Are there things UFC can learn from WWE?
Well, you just answered your own question. I mean, it's like UFC's learning. They're doing a good job.
Yeah.
They're doing a good job. I mean, you got to remember Vince has been doing this for a long time. Could they maybe take a couple notes out of a chapter or two? I don't know, maybe here and there, but I mean, would they want to? Who knows? Probably not.